Oh, hello there, YouTube. I'm doing a video here on tanning a hide. Now, this isn't a how-to video because I've never done this before. So I actually got some inspiration from a man named Rick. You can visit his YouTube page at Pamela G. Smith. And I just kind of wanted to get back in touch with some skills that we've lost over time, and one of those, and it's always been an interest of mine, is tanning a hide. So this isn't the greatest setup, I know. I don't have a big property, but I've got my little shed and it's snowing out, so I put up this tarp so it wouldn't get wet. First thing is I salted the hide, and it's been salted for over 2 days now, and the hide looks like it's pretty the skin is starting to get tough, and from what I read, that's a good sign to start fleshing. So I've got this tarp laid out. I've shaken a lot of the salt off, and I also hung it out to dry a little more, and some more blood came out of the hide. So I don't know if it's ready yet, or if the hair will actually stay on the hide, because this hide's a week old. However, it's been frozen since it first came off, like frozen solid. So worst case scenario, I'll make some buckskin out of it, which I'm sure will also not work out, but gotta live and learn, right? So if anybody has any comments about the way that I'm doing stuff, I've taken out some books from the library, and I've watched a lot of videos online and done a lot of reading, and I'm definitely really new to this. So any comments, don't be too harsh on me, but definitely let me know if I'm doing something right or wrong, because I also have another deer hide coming next week that whatever I screw up on this one, I'll try to make some improvements on the next one. So this is the knife that I'm using right here. It's like a simple fleshing knife, one-handed, and yeah, I'm essentially just going to be working down on here, working down the skin. You know what? I already cut a hole in the hide, not underestimating the amount of I guess pressure that I need to put on there. So this isn't meant to be like a garment or anything. I'll sew that all up, but yeah, I'm already learning my lesson the hard way, so I'll sew that up, and it's only going to be a mat, so hopefully, yeah, I don't do any more of that. So I changed my base of operations here. I was working in my shed, and it's -5 out. So what I found is I'm starting to cut a little bit into the hide itself. No big deal, because it's just going to be a mat anyways, but the flesh is really hard to come off, and what I've seen in videos and what I read, it should come off a little bit easier. So luckily I have a wife that allows me to skin or flesh hides in my own kitchen. So I brought all my stuff in here, and I'm going to give this another go. So yeah, here, you can come in close. So all I'm doing is I have this fleshing knife here, and all I'm doing is working down, trying to get like the membrane and fat off. So any comments on how I can do this better? I don't have the best fleshing beam, but it is round where I am kind of working. So my whole thing here is to I'm working on little sections at a time, and I'm just taking all those little pieces of fat and membrane off, and yeah, so, and I have all this meat to get off as well. I don't know how long this is going to take me, but whatever, I've got all night. So okay, so I've already learned that I started off this entire process wrong, and that was that I went back and watched one of Rick's videos there on preparing a cape for tanning, and he rough fleshes it first. So that means you're taking off all the meat and the fat before you salt it. Now I don't know if I've ruined the hide, because I got my buddy, I bought him 55 pounds of salt. It was like $6 at the grocery store. I told him to friggin' throw it on the cape, and that way if it's frozen and salted, it'll be easier for me to take all the meat off. However, I'm finding it's almost a little bit too dry, I don't know if this is the way it's supposed to be. Anybody that's done it before, just let me know. But what I'm also finding is that the actual meat itself is very dry, and it's almost just kind of ripping off. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but it seems like I'm just pulling off the meat, and underneath it is like a layer of fat, I guess. Because I'm not really penetrating the actual hide, but the meat is coming off pretty easily, and this is going to save me a lot of time because the meat, and again, I could be doing this completely wrong. I'm just kind of going with what's working right now, but a lot of this a lot of this meat here is just coming off really easily just by pulling on it, instead of using my knife, because I've been kind of finding with the knife that scraping at the meat, it's a bit, I'm getting closer to the hide. I'm not sure if I need to cut it off or scrape it off. It's not scraping off very easily. So I'm going to keep going with this method. It's probably wrong, but it seems to be coming off nice, like you can see there. I think this is the brisket area, and there's a lot of fat in there. But instead of cutting through the meat, yeah, it's pretty fatty there. Instead of cutting through the actual meat and then cutting through the fat, this way I'm just cutting. I'm only going to have to work on the fat. So there we go. Okay, so I just want to show you guys how I started, and I kind of butchered this thing a bit. And essentially, I was paranoid about getting that membrane off that I was starting to cut into the hide. Now I'm going to try to correct this by using some sandpaper once I put it in the pickle, once it's done and it's got the oil on it. Now here in the middle where the rib section is, you see it? Is where a lot of the meat was, where I was peeling it off, and it's actually really tough, and I've tried everything to scrape this stuff off, and I can't get that off at all. It's in there, and that's my own fault for not what do you call it? I'll edit it, doesn't matter. That's what I get for not cutting all the meat and the fat off the hide before I salted it. So note to self for the next time, because this right here is going to come out hard. No matter how much the pickle gets into it, it's not going to be able to penetrate the actual meat. And there's nothing that I can do to take that off with this knife here. However, as I've been going down and working on the hide over the night, I've started to get my cuts down really nice, and I've gotten all the fat off, and I've actually got a really nice, soft, pliable, what I think is going to turn out nice is the bottom piece of the hide. And that's this nice white part, and I've got some nice cuts on there. And yeah, so this is filled with holes. The top portion is horrible, the middle is going to be ruined, the bottom is nice, but it's all a learning experience. So what I'm doing now is I'm following the instructions with the Riddles tanning kit, and I'm putting my hide into this plastic bin, and it says to use plastic instead of metal, because some of the components, the chemical components, can react with the metal. So to use plastic, and the ingredients are 2 quarts of white vinegar. This is one of the pickling formulas. To 2 quarts of water and 1 pound of salt, or 1.5 cups of salt. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to be putting in enough water and vinegar, half and half, into the solution, and 1.5 cups of salt per 2 quarts. I'm just mixing it up. All the salt in the solution, the hide, and I gotta wait holding it down. 35-pound weight in a garbage bag because it's metal.